Hello, everyone. Welcome to my talk about things that I have seen as a cybersecurity consultant. You will see a few things that I experience in my daily work. And yeah, let's start with that. This is the world we live in, full of headlines, data breaches, cyber attacks, incidents. On the other hand, we also have a lot of recommendations, we have a lot of frameworks, we have best practices, and of course, technology to protect that, or to protect everyone from cyber attacks. I live in the middle, so this is really my world I live in, and my name is Daniel Kaufmann. I work at Cyberfy. Cyberfy is a new company that was founded this summer together with friends. I originally made a career in banking, but soon moved into project management, led IT projects, led projects for data protection in big banks, and that was my move into security and data protection more than 15 years ago now. I focus mainly on three topics in cybersecurity because it's a huge field. I focus on risk management, cyber risk management, cloud risks. I've already spoken at ETH Zurich about cloud risks. Then digital workplace, where I've helped many companies securing their digital workplace and endpoints with Microsoft 365. And cyber defense, where I help companies improve their security operations and also help evaluating tools and technologies to support that. For today, I've brought three main topics. First, threat intelligence and deception technologies, both topics from the defense side of cybersecurity. And the third one is sourcing of tools and services. How do big companies and organizations source and purchase services and tools? And I will show that on the two concrete examples of threat intelligence and deception. So first, a few slides about theory, about what deception and threat intelligence is. So we have a common understanding, and then let's quickly look at the sourcing and then go into the details. Threat intelligence, the famous Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu said that intelligence is key to war. Without it, you can't win. And you can maybe see that this is relevant in today's war that we have in the world. Intelligence is gathered everywhere, be it gathering of troops via aerial images or cell phone networks. So intelligence is really important. Now, what it is in cybersecurity? Why is it important, and what is actually intelligence? Intelligence, according to the National Institute for Standards and Technology, NIST, is information that has been collected, been processed, been put into context of the organization, and have been made ready for decision making. You can see here many benefits of threat intelligence. I won't go into the details of that because for me the main summary of this is being a step ahead and prepare yourself. Companies use it to prepare their defenses and being a step ahead of the attackers. Then there's deception technologies. In the image before about threat intelligence, have you noticed if these tanks were real or not? Deception also today plays a role in these in the ongoing wars. There's still companies that sell inflatable tanks. And Sun Tzu said, all warfare is based on deception. What he meant with that is, if you are near, you need to appear far. If you are active, you need to appear inactive, and vice versa. So it's really a big topic also in threat in cybersecurity. What it means in cybersecurity, these inflatable tanks, they would be decoys. There can be different names for that, can also be called traps or honeypots. Decoys can be fake devices, like fake domain controllers, fake print servers, fake web servers, anything. Another component of threat or of deception is lures. These may also have different names. Lures are basically passive components, can be a document that lies somewhere on a server, waits for an attacker to detect it, read it, and maybe has a reference to that fake domain controller. The third component is honey tokens. Honey tokens are active. That means they immediately trigger an alert if they are touched by an attacker. There are all kinds of honey tokens. We will see more of them later in the talk. Can be documents again, DNS names, images, many forms of that. And what is also important for managing a deception environment is a cool management platform that helps with deploying all these deception components on IT assets or into IT platforms. Mostly, what I've seen, companies use deception when they already have a high maturity in cybersecurity. They improve their security, but it's not the only thing of detection. So the benefits of deception technologies, again, here quite a list. I think the most important for what I've seen in with my clients is to get a high quality alert, because many security organizations, they suffer from false positive alerts, they suffer from alert fatigue, and they're really looking for a high quality alert. And from deception, nobody should interact with that. If an alert comes from it, it's really something that you should act upon. So next thing is sourcing of tools. Now, if a CISO or a security head hears of the importance of deception or threat intelligence, how do organizations purchase these tools and services? They have a structured process. Can be 7 steps, can be more, but important terms here are RFI, request for information. That means you send out a questionnaire that you expect an answer and a non-binding offer, whereas the RFP, request for a proposal, is kind of the same, but you expect a binding offer from it. Reasons why companies use a structured process can be different. There can be legal obligations, international laws and treaties that mandate you to use this structured process, but they also use it to gather information about the market, about the capabilities that vendors have. They want to ensure transparency and fairness, and of course, also the vendors need to be fair and transparent. It happened to me once that a vendor offered me a kickback payment if his company wins a deal. And yeah, I mean, this can be tempting to earn a bit of extra money, but of course this is illegal in most of the countries. And yeah, never do that. It's illegal, you can get in legal troubles, and it can severely damage your reputation. Now let's go into the details of the first topic, threat intelligence, how I defined the requirements and how I did that purchasing of threat intelligence with one company. So these are the services, the requirements that I defined with the customer. First one is credentials and data leaks. I think this is obvious. You want to know when credentials or data leaks of your company. You can then warn users or information owners. You can block accounts, require multi-factor authentication when they next log in, different things. Then there's typo squatting, a common technique for phishing, where the attackers use a similar looking domain. My customer also had high quality products, and he wanted to know when these products or fake products, counterfeit products show up in dark marketplaces. And fourth one is brand protection, a very important use case if you have a brand, if you have a reputation to lose. It has different aspects. One is trademark and logo abuse that you want to know, but also monitoring of social media, monitoring of accounts, social media profiles that appear. And this is also very important. I had one customer who had 60 CEO profiles in 1 week on Facebook. all fake, all started telling shit about the company or doing nothing, preparing other attacks. But it's really something that organizations should know. And for this type of events, it's also important to have a takedown process in place. Intelligence vendor offer this, so you can have an automated takedown of Facebook profiles. When you have 60 in 1 week, that's a burden if you need to do that manually, so you're really happy if you have an automated process with a vendor. Second step in sourcing is a market overview. What you can see here is only a snapshot of intelligence providers. There are much more companies that provide threat intelligence information. What I did then, I grouped that into their service offerings. And to my surprise, there were a lot of smaller companies who have a really specialized service, who, for example, focus only on counterfeit products or on technical intelligence, whereas only a few ones have a whole big portfolio of services like the ones that I just presented. Next step is then, or first we skipped, in this case, the RFI phase, so the indicative offer was not requested. The customer was already aware of the services and tools of threat intelligence, so we directly went into a request for a proposal, a binding offer. Everything is put into a document, the requirements, some submission guidelines, rules and things that are relevant for sourcing. But additionally, we requested from the providers real examples from the company. So for every service, leaked passwords, counterfeit products, for everything we requested real samples. And what did we receive from the companies? We received very detailed offers. For me, this was really a big surprise. They were tailor-made, really high quality. I've never seen that before. High quality of offers that were shown, and all of them included real samples. And a big surprise was the cost range. We sent the RFP only to 3 companies, and the cheapest one was 20 times cheaper than the most expensive one. So quite a difference, I would say. And we then selected one for proof of concept and did the implementation afterwards. So what was really surprising in the offers with the real data, they showed us password leaks that had not been known yet. And isn't that amazing? You request an offer from a company and they show you leaked passwords, actionable intelligence, right? Yeah, and then we implemented it, and some days after implementation, what happened? The service reported a phishing site that was running since more than 6 months. Of course, this should be detected earlier. Now, how is that possible? The internet is huge. Millions of sites are created every day. I believe one company can never collect everything. Means you need to have more than one provider for threat intelligence. Maybe even more than 2. This would really get expensive then. But yeah, that's also because you cannot only rely on this. It needs to embed it in a whole security architecture. Okay, then let's go into the details of deception technologies. The customer also heard about deception, wanted to purchase deception technologies, and we again started with defining the key requirements. My customer wanted only a quick and high quality alert. So that was the main focus of the deception. He did not want to collect loads of intelligence about tools and techniques of the attackers, only wanted to get this alert. Physical and virtual decoys were important for him. Physical because it should also be deployed in network areas where no virtualization was available. And the third one that I want to point out is agentless deception. Means that honey tokens and lures should be deployed to IT assets by standard and existing management tools. No agent on the endpoint, because an agent could maybe be fingerprinted by an attacker and make him more aware in his steps. For deception, we also looked at the market. The market is a bit smaller than for threat intelligence, but also this is only a snapshot of the deception market. For deception, we looked at the complexity of the services and the tools. And of course, this is a bit simplified, but most of the tools are quite complex. You need to deploy it in your organizations. They need to have internet or network access. They scan your network, adapt their decoys to the network. They create invisible tunnels to other machines for attackers. Collect a lot of information, of course, but it's also a complex deployment. And yeah, we were more looking like for something that was easily understandable, easily deployed, and yeah, can work easily. We finally selected the one down there with the canary. And how the evaluation evolved then, we've sent an RFI, request for information, to 7 organizations, to 7 providers. Did an evaluation of that, refined all the requirements. The RFI was important here for the customer because he did not have experience with deception technologies. So we collected a lot of information, read a lot of documents, visited a lot of websites, and really built up that knowledge after the RFI. Then we could refine the requirements and send out an RFP. This we sent only to 3 companies, and again did an evaluation and selected one company for a proof of concept. Why a proof of concept? It was a hardened environment. You place a deception technology in there. What happens there? You need to drill holes into your network or not. What is really required? Is it technically feasible? So these were the reasons why we started a POC. The POC lasted 3 months, and we really tested all of the deception tokens that were relevant. And this POC was something I really enjoyed. I have a few slides about the POC, especially. The proof of concept, what's the first step an attacker does, or one of the first steps? He tries to get into the network, maybe via phishing. He clones a website to make it legit, his phishing, and you can have a honey token in your website that alerts you if it's not running on your domain. And that's the case here. I'm running the VIScon website on localhost. Of course, that's not the legit domain, and it triggers an alert. Very useful. Now, if an attacker really manages to get into your network, what they often do is they verify the account they have captured, and they execute commands. For example, who am I? You can configure sensitive commands so that you get an alert if this is executed. Of course, this should not be something that the normal user often uses. It should be something that only attackers use, but normal users not. And who am I is such kind of a command. Then, if he does not execute who am I, or if this alert is not noticed, he may get further into the network. He may gather information. The attacker often look for credentials. So you can place AWS keys in your tokens, in your documents, and if an attacker finds it, uses it, then you get an alert. Really something helpful again. So you can imagine this is really a successful proof of concept. We also tested the organizational and managing things of the deception platform, means APIs. APIs can be used to list the existing tokens. They can be used to create tokens. They can be used to automatically deploy tokens to endpoints. And this is always helping the deployment and the management of the platform. So it was really successful. We implemented it, and 1 week after the implementation, we received an alert. Strange IP address. It was a company only operating in Switzerland, so an alert from Texas, USA, really raised a flag. There was also a strange user agent header with an old Chrome browser, and this made many people nervous. I triggered an investigation, of course, and we found out that a user that was involved in the proof of concept deleted a Word document with a token, and a security tool found the Word document suspicious, sent it to Texas into a detonation sandbox, which of course triggered the alert. And good luck. No real incident. We were very happy about that. And we also learned something about the infrastructure, because it was not known that this security tool does it. Very helpful again. Oops, what's that? that's a token I forgot in one company, but I still had the token history bookmark in my browser. I checked it a few weeks ago, and it had been silent ever. Now a new alert. What happened? The customer had a problem with transfer folders. Transfer network folders are used for transferring big files, storing big files, and it happened that also sensitive information was stored on these folders. I recommended them to delete everything after 1 week and other measures around that, and placed an Excel file there with a honey token. This was silent for more than a year, and a few weeks ago somebody found that this bonus file is interesting, opened it, and I received an alert. Also interesting means that my recommendation to delete everything after a week was never implemented. So I'm coming to the end of my presentation. I think the life as a security consultant is really a fantastic and inspiring journey. It has a lot of opportunities to learn about technologies, different technologies. You can work in different organizations. You can work in military, in electricity, in banks. You can see so many different industries. And I'm passionate about cybersecurity. I'm passionate about learning, and I still grow in this really dynamic landscape of cybersecurity. Thank you for coming here, and I believe we have some time for questions.
Thank you very much, Daniel. First of all, I need to apologize because I deceived myself on the time when the talk starts, so we started about 5 minutes too early. I'm very sorry. That's why we had so many people walking in. Okay. I'm really sorry. Anyway, but now we have much more time for questions and answers, so I guess it's a bonus? I don't know. So, who has questions? Don't be shy. Yes.
Hi. So I don't have any idea of cybersecurity in general, but maybe interesting for me to know. So you talked about these deception tools and technologies. Is there also cases where it would make sense to try to backtrace the attacker and then to gain some information on who's trying to hack you or attack you? And does it even make sense?
Yeah, this makes absolutely sense. This is then more in the field of cyber threat intelligence. So there are specialized companies who collect information about the attackers, what tools, techniques, and procedures they have. And usually the attackers, they have their preferred tool set. And based on the things you observe in your network and on your endpoints, you can maybe identify it, but this is really tough. It's not easy to really find out who attacked you, especially if you're dealing with a nation-state actor. Yeah.
Anyone? Yes.
Thanks. This may be a bit of a simple question, but I usually, you were talking about honey tokens. I used to hear more the term honey pots. Is there a difference, or is that just, it has been changed in usage, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely not a simple question. I believe it's a very good question, because mostly honeypots in the earlier days used to be for scientific purpose and for research. And a lot of things were created. There have been created whole transportation networks just for the purpose of honeypots, that it can be attacked. But also the decoys, they can be seen as honeypots. Decoys usually come in two flavors. So you can have low interaction decoys and high interaction decoys. Low interaction is only an emulation of a system, no or very few interaction possibilities for an attacker. And high interaction decoys can have a full operating system where the attacker can maybe even execute exploit code. And these are the main types of honeypots, and can also be called decoys. There are different names. If you go through the website of these vendors, they all use different names. So maybe honey token and or honeypots and decoys should be the same.
Thank you.
First of all, thank you for your talk. I was wondering, what is an attacker typically looking for? What is an attacker's motivation maybe? Is that done systematically as well? Or, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you've heard about the attackers being grouped into different levels. There's the lowest one is script kiddies, and then there are, and this is grouped up through nation state is the highest level. Between that, there are criminals, organized crime, and so. And it really depends on the group and the motivation they have. Some groups have a motivation for money. Some have a motivation for information and influence. Others want to steal information. It's very different. It's famous that, for example, North Korea, many say that North Korea is looking for money and captures a lot of digital currencies these days.
Other question? So earlier somebody asked a question about backtracking. I was just wondering, what is, let's say, is there a problem a bit with legal frameworks across different countries, or is there ever things that you think would help you but you're not allowed to do, or the other way around, stuff that you're allowed to do you think shouldn't be the case, or is it a totally gray area?
Yeah, I think what is being discussed in many countries is the topic of active hacking back and destroying infrastructure of attackers. So far, this has been done by the US Cyber Command, or also Europol, together with other countries. If you want to find out who you attacked, and even if you found out this is in another country, you often have legal borders, and you rely on the collaboration with other states and other polices, and this can be quite cumbersome, takes a lot of time, and is really a burden. So international help, legal help, there would definitely help, yeah.
So we have the next question here in the back.
Yes, maybe a rather similar question, but going more maybe in also the technical or organizational aspects of. So, I mean, you talked a lot about how you would detect some attacks. What would you actually do? What would your reactions be if you detect an attack? So what steps would you take? And I think something I'm particularly interested in is maybe notifying state bodies like the National Cybersecurity Center, I think it's called.
Mm-hmm. Usually the organizations, they have an incident response framework, or they should at least have one. And this is defined for different use cases. You have different incident response use cases for if you have a ransomware attack, if you have a password leak, or if you have a data leakage, and then go through those networks. There's frameworks, for example, the NIST cybersecurity incident framework that has detailed steps, what to do, how to prepare, and cyber incident, what you need to do in preparation for it, but also when it happens, and also when you've managed to resolve it, and how to do lessons learned and improve your defenses for the next.
Hi, I had a question regarding canary tokens. Since they're kind of standardized, right, you can clearly see they are canarytokens.com.
Yeah.
What measurements did you take to try and hide these from the attackers to make them not be so easy to find? Even an attacker knows about them.
Yeah, so the canarytokens.org, that's a free website, and it's very helpful. I use it also in my OneDrive, my personal OneDrive. But if you have a commercial offering from Canary, they also offer you to have an own domain. So you can use everything on your own domain name, and then that makes it much more legitimate to attackers if it contacts a domain of the customer.
Thank you. May I ask a question about the career path? So I have a basic idea of working as a security analyst in a cybersecurity service provider, but I've also seen that you've also worked in Credit Suisse, which should be a company that needs like cybersecurity service. So what is your experience or basically job tasks working as like a security department in a tech giant that needs security service? Thank you.
Yeah, I think every company today needs security somehow. The banks, they have a lot of money and they invest a lot in security also. So that's definitely an interesting field. Then it comes to what type of security and infrastructure do you like? Do you like the standard IT? Or is your topic more operational technology? That's a whole different field, but also electricity providers or industry companies who have a lot of OT in their environment, they also need security. And so the field is really huge. You can choose what your specialties are. So if you're specialized in OT, go to more industry close. If you have other, then you find basically everything, but banks is definitely a good choice to go to.
What is the exact job task? Like auditing the bank's app or like pen testing their web applications?
You mean what we do?
Yes.
We help a lot on the governance side. So we write policies. For example, in the topic of cloud security, we develop cloud security frameworks. We develop cloud security policies, SaaS policies, for example. How should a SaaS service be onboarded in a company? Can every SaaS service be used, or are there some restrictions? We help a lot with that, too. Yeah. We don't do pen testing or services like that. Yeah.
If I may ask a second question, as you said now, doing the policy and things like that in governance, do you also consider the more physical aspect of cybersecurity in those policies, or do you leave that to someone else and just say, okay, we assume that they are getting into the network somehow, and now where do we go from here? Or do you also have like tell them to block your USB ports and check the door, things like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the classic entryway, right?
Yeah, of course, it's end-to-end. Yeah, the door is a topic, but also the security on the endpoint, make it tamper-proof, and so it's everything. Yeah.
Any more questions? I don't see any. If you still have one, please yell. Otherwise, I am only left to thank you, Daniel, with a little token of our appreciation for your talk.
Thank you.